Right, let's move to Man City, chaps. And Ricky, talking of not putting the ball in the back of the net, mate. I mean, when was the last time Man City had 83 or whatever percent possession and didn't win the game, mate?
It's crazy. Yeah, I just can't believe that. It's really frustrating as a City fan. Like you finally see all your players like back from injury, all the defenders back. Kevin De Bruyne like taking the ball, like running around, but it just didn't happen. I thought the goal from Bernardo Silva was amazing. Like, it was a great goal to score. Um, and the problem was like Grealish, everyone was playing amazing. I think Jack Grealish of the last four games, he's really turned as a player. Like really reliable. He's keeping Foden out of the team, and he did really well. I think. Well, Foden played yesterday anyway. I didn't think Foden was that great. I know he did. He was quite blistering in terms of running forwards, but that that strike where he had to just pass it or just shoot it, and he ended up passing it, but not really passing it well enough for Haaland to get the ball. Yeah, really frustrating. I just find City really. It's just frustrating, watching or not knowing what kind of a formation we're going to put out, not knowing what players we're going to put out. It's hard to read Pep Guardiola as a manager sometimes. Like he just really makes things really confusing.
He's changing that back three, isn't he, more than his underwear at the moment?
Constantly, yeah, exactly. It really is. But I think that back three we've got in front of us there, I think they're the best back three we would have out of the choice of all the different defenders we have. I think Nathan Ake, he's a big liability in my eyes. I know he's got us out of trouble and he's scored winning goals over the last, like say, 10 over the last 10 games. He's been quite pivotal, but I just find that he's not very reliable. But yeah, I think I heard Carl Walker say he's really disappointed and this shouldn't have happened, and then Pep Guardiola saying the reverse, like we played amazing. And I tend to go with Pep Guardiola. I think that was just a freak accident. Forest didn't have many chances. It should have been 4-0. Arsenal, on another day it should have been 2-2. So really, it was a freak weekend for me, and I think the confidence that we got from the Arsenal game will carry us forward into the next few games. I think this was just it was. I don't think I'm not really worried. If we had lost and we had very minimal possession and less chances, then I'll be very worried. But overall, it was good signs to see how we played. And Kevin De Bruyne, just again, is absolutely amazing. I think he's probably the best midfielder in the Premiership at the moment. I know Gary Neville and Carragher keep saying the same thing as well, but what a player! It's
I think
absolutely
Bruno
unbelievable.
has to be in that conversation as well.
Casemiro has to be in that combo as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But Haaland, I just again he scores like amazing goals, like the goal against Arsenal, and we scored I think he scored a hat trick against Forest back in September when I watched that game live, and like on Saturday, like he had so many chances to score and just can't put the ball into the net. It's just really, really bizarre striker. It's just
Is there a do you think this and we'll open up the debate on this now after I ask you this question because I keep hearing this online on Talksport everywhere. Is Haaland better for you long term, or do you go back to the City of last year where you play Alvarez? Where do you sit on this Haaland debate, mate? Because he's kind of dried up a bit. He's dried up a bit, and I agree. Foden should have just slotted that in first time. I mean, that was on a plate, 1-0. But then Haaland did miss two chances later on. He did that half volley off the bar, and then he followed up with a poor finish. But take away the chances, take away the Foden issue there, that isolation. Are City playing better? And you're a Man City fan, man. You live, breathe it. Are Man City playing better football with Haaland in the team, or is there an argument that he makes you too predictable and it's all too, teams figure you out easily?
Yeah, so I think we're a team that just likes to hold possession, like passing around. Like last season, we didn't have Alvarez. We had like Mahrez, we had Gundogan, and all those kind of players. Like, and up front, Gundogan was our top. I think it was our second top goal scorer, our top goal scorer last season. And we just passing the ball, like moving around and finding that free space and scoring. But this season with Haaland, we're trying to play to appease and accommodate him, and that's not really working because we're changing our style of play. And what we need to do is the City that we are just passing, taking it to the wings and finding that nice gap, and then finding that that position play. with Haaland, I think it's going to come though. We're still working out how to play and accommodate him. And that game against Arsenal was a great example of how doing the long balls over to him. Just the way he just runs, like even if he has got half a chance, he'll run and make a problem for the opposition. And I think that's how we should play. But then that's going to basically isolate players in our team like Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden and even Jack Grealish, who running around in possession. So it's difficult. I think we'll have to lose one or two players to accommodate him. Who I feel really sorry for is Alvarez, though. He's a great player, World Cup winner. He's youngster, proven, and he can't get onto the pitch. I think Pep Guardiola shouldn't be scared to bring him on and take Haaland off as well. I know he's got a big price tag, but it's a bit unfair, I think, to leave Alvarez off all the time. And I think he's a player that can influence games. Even against Forest, when we first played them, he scored 2 goals. I think it was 5-0 in the end. And he's a really great player, I think, Alvarez. But I think our key problem has been so far our defense, and now we've got our defenders back in Laporte and Diaz. I think that's going to make a big difference. And with Jack Grealish improving as well, I think he was again big price tag. He was a bit of a letdown, but I think looking at on the screen right now, I can't think of one player that can let us down. I think all of them, apart from Haaland, I would say, are the players that are really, I think reliable, and I think we can go all the way. But it's just keeping them match fit now, and I know our players are getting older as well. So Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, they're getting old. Bernardo Silva's on his last season, I think. So we're going to lose at least 3 players at the end of the season through transfers or older age, or this is probably their best season. They're going to be past their sell-by date. So I think we would just have to go for it. And given the fact that this might be our last 15 games of being a Premiership team, I think we just have to basically just go all-out attack and just really go for it.
City average age, I didn't realize 28 years, isn't it? It's not young, is it?
No, it's not. No. So it'll be very interesting.
Saying that, Forest were 28.5 lads. So unless they've got a 60-year-old in there somewhere, but yeah, I mean they're not exactly young, and they did a job on you, mate. But I don't think they did a job on you, mate. You were just unlucky. Let's get into perspective. Banter aside, City drawing at the City ground. You guys, any other day, that's 2-3-0 for me watching that game. Forest had very little to offer, and I think your point on the defense is a key one. You've not had this back three since the last couple of weeks, have you, Ricky?
It's been before. I think prior to the World Cup, we didn't have Diaz. He was injured for a long time. Laporte's been injured as well, so we've had a very different defense lineup. So yeah, Ruben Diaz is a great player. He's a leader on the pitch. I think we need players like that. I don't know what you guys think about Rodri. I think he's been rock solid this season. He's been really great as a great replacement for Fernandinho, who's been a legend for us. And we brought in the other guy, the Leeds guy. I can't remember his name. Calvin Phillips is understudy. I don't think Phillips is. Yeah, he's not going to get into the team, to be honest. I've heard of him kind of moving at the end of the season. I think Rodri
came back. He came back overweight from the World Cup, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm just as a Man City fan, I'm just really happy to see Jack Grealish really play. And I think Pep Guardiola's got real faith in him. He's starting him the last 3-4 games now. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how he finishes and moves on from here, and how he kind of hopefully accelerates his career going forwards.
So Ricky, I had a quick question for you. So Sultan kind of touched on it last week. Feels like Haaland's a bit of a flat track bully, right? In terms of the way he sort of scores goals. And yes, he's scored a shed loads of goals already this season. And, you talk about Alvarez kind of being in that Aguero sort of mould, right? In terms of playing. If you got a crazy offer from someone like Real Madrid, right, who comes in for the 160 million quid offer for Haaland, do you sort of let him go and try and build a team which is more in the sort of Pep, fluid style game? Or what do you do?
Yeah, I disagree. I think the reason we didn't have a striker for the last season, and that was because we just couldn't find a replacement for Aguero. We would have wanted a striker, but just luckily enough, we won the league and it all worked out. But I don't think we could win the league like that again. It was just basically a very off kind of season. We do need a striker, and Aguero was our striker. So we need a prolific striker like Aguero. And I don't think right now there's anyone that would want to come to City given our situation. So it's for us to hold on to players rather than to get rid of players.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that season was a freak season where we won the title without. I think Gundogan just basically played in strike and scored goals. I don't think he could do that many goals again.
I think City won't have a choice actually, because in his 5-year deal, I think the second or third year it's 125 million euro release clause. So Real Madrid are probably going to come in and buy him, and he's going to move on. He's not going to be there forever.
Yeah. I mean, like
that's what the whisper is, right?
They make nice lasagnas in Manchester, so I don't know about lasagnas in Spain. But hopefully his dad's influence and all that kind of stuff will. Otherwise, we'll go back and get Dick off and Mike Summerby.
Lads, any
what's
predictions
the
on the
release
title race?
clause?
No,
Sorry?
go for it, go,
I
you
think it's 125 million euros. So that's why City got him for a bargain, because that agent, the one that passed away, but he's got an agency, the Italian guy.
Yeah, Nino Raiola.
Yeah, that
Nino
one.
Raiola.
They negotiated that because they got him at a bar. In his contract is if anyone bids above, I think outside the Premier League, 125 million euros.
Do you know what, Sully? I'm reading here, mate, on Forbes. It's 195 million dollars. It's in dollars on this one. 195 million dollars. So about 150 mil, it might be.
Yeah, something like that. So there is a release clause in there.
But it only becomes active from 2024, lads. That's what it says here on Forbes.
He might be in the Championship by then.
Scoring about 100 goals himself every season.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think just overall summary, Man City fan, is very, very scary times at the moment. Like not knowing what's going to happen, uncertainty. But the reverse is like, let's just go for it now or never. Like let's just basically just try to win this title. It might be our last ever time to win any piece of silverware. So let's just make the most of it. Is basically the feeling in the City camp at the moment.
Goodness, I thought it was bad at Chelsea.
Well, I was about to say you should open a therapy club, right? Led by Potter. He doesn't get angry apparently, so it'll be fine.
Is Pep losing it, Ricky? There's questions about him over experimenting, and we'll have to finish in a couple on City and move to Liverpool. But is Pep losing? Does he frustrate you with his?
I'm really proud of him, to be honest. The way he came out in that week when we got that all that scandal, etc. I'm calling it a scandal. It might be real, who knows for now. But I was really proud as a City fan for someone to come out there and just basically defend us as a club. And the way he came out, I thought was absolutely spot on. I don't think he did anything wrong there. I think he is tinkering a lot, though. He's basically I just don't understand how you can leave. No matter how bad he plays in one match, like De Bruyne, like you can't leave him off. You can't leave him out of the team. And he's doing too much of this, like playing Bernardo Silva in defense as a defensive, midfielder. He started off left side defense and ended up playing, in midfield at the end. Like he's capable of doing it. He's a great player, but like on another day, we could have really like messed up there. And I think again, like Klopp and these managers that have won so much and been so successful, there's a bit of like cockiness, like it's my way, and if I keep changing if I basically listen to the fans or listen to the pundits, then I'm just basically, I think he wants to do things his own way. But I think he's also realized that he needs to keep Kevin De Bruyne in the team because he's just really proved himself.
Cool. Thanks for that,
Yeah.
Ricky. Appreciate it, mate. Man City drawing away, and they've got Bournemouth away next, so we'll see what happens at Bournemouth. By then, if Arsenal beat Leicester, then the pressure could be on, and people talk about Arsenal feeling the heat. Who's to know Man City are not feeling the heat? They've got a real rival in Arsenal here. They're playing great football, and the last time Man City were in this kind of race was with Liverpool. The good news for Arsenal is that Man City have a Champions League to win, and that's the one chink in Pep's history, isn't it? In terms of the Man City legacy that he'll leave behind. If he doesn't win the Champions League, then people will say, is he the greatest? Can you compare him with Fergie? Yeah. Can you even compare him with Klopp? You could argue, because he's won the Champions League and the Premier League. But domestically, definitely the man's won it all. Now, with him obviously playing midweek, and I know you've got RB, I think it is, away. And then you've got the Bournemouth game. Could be a real pivotal week for Man City if they don't win away to Bournemouth and they don't win in the Champions League. So all eyes on Man City this week. Let's now switch over to